So in terms of like your week to week, how do you find time to, balance health, your relationship, work, business? I feel like that's quite a lot of just stuff you're involved in.
I have no hobbies. Like, this is what I fucking love doing, right?
Business,
And so if you think about a single day, one of the things I take great pride in is if you were to talk to most people who have ever worked with me, they'll be like, dude, I thought I worked hard. Like, that motherfucker is unstoppable, right? And it's just because over time I've built up this capacity for an immense amount of work in a single day. And so to give you a kind of a glimpse at it, I pretty much will go from 8 to 4, back to back, no breaks, right? And it's 30-minute meetings, just back, whatever. Now, I don't necessarily want to do that, but we have so much stuff going on and I'm needed in certain things until I can get them kind of delegated to other people that I'll do that multiple days a week, right? Then I'll go home, I'll take like a little break, right? Maybe an hour or so, and then I'm just right back at it until about 8 o'clock at night. And so when you look at that, like, man, that's a lot. But it's like, yeah, but what else would I do? Like, this is so much fun, right? And it's like a lot of people are sitting in their corporate job and they're like, man, I can't wait to get out of here and go to the golf course. I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck about that, right? Like, I can't wait to get on this next call, right? Yes. I did a call yesterday with somebody for an hour. It's a friend of mine, and I literally told him when I got on the call, I was like, dude, I woke up this morning and I was like, I got to fucking talk to him today, right? And it's just like that to me was going to the golf course. That was going to whatever. And so if you just know that about yourself, like, double down on it. And then the other thing that I do every single day is I make sure that I read. And so at 8 o'clock, I pretty much shut whatever I'm doing down. The team will laugh because every once in a while I'll sneak in a Slack message here or there, right? Yeah. But I just fundamentally believe that, like, I am happiest when I get to read every day. And so if I work out in the morning, do the work, and then I read at night, it's like the perfect day. Yeah. So I just do that over and over and over again. And what you do is, like, it's like building a muscle, right? I always joke that, like, everyone's like, oh, I want to work hard. Like, cool, practice. Yeah. Right? Like, get started, actually do it. And so when you do that, it does two things. One, you do build the muscle memory and you're able to just have a higher capacity for work than most people. But two is, like, there's a lot of people that I work with that I think whether they work at our businesses or they work, in the business we've invested in or whatever, they're just like, damn, like, I can't complain. Right? How do you complain when the person who is leading an organization is willing to do so much work or willing to do things that they're asking you to do? And so it goes back to, like, the military, right? Is if you're a NCO or an officer, you eat last, right? Everyone else is kind of taken care of first. Mm-hmm. You're willing to always do the hard work, right? You're willing to always do the things that you're asking these other people to do. And you probably have done it. And so, like, one of the things in the military that, kind of gets dramatized by the movies and stuff is, like, go clean the bathrooms in these war zones where there's everything that needs to be burnt. People are like, why would I ever do that? It's like, well, guess what? Like, when other people were younger, that's what they did, right? So they've been there. They've done that stuff. Like, they understand how it works. And so I think it's just like we have a couple of crises in America. One is a financial education crisis. One's a hard work crisis. And one's a leadership crisis, right? And you can actually solve two of the three of those by simply just working hard and actually leading by example. And so what ends up being interesting about that is there's lots and lots of people who love to complain. Like, we have absolutely become a nation of complainers, right? Sure. People just get on the internet and they're just bitching about anything that possibly goes wrong in their life. I tend to think that actually we need to shift back to being a nation of competitors. And if you think about, think of, like, the people that came before us, right? I was reading a book recently about the McMillan family, which is the McMillan and Cargills created Cargill Inc. Cargill is, one of the largest privately held companies in America today. They came from Ireland in, like, the early 1800s, the McMillan family. And they literally showed up in Canada. And somebody was like, you have 200 acres. Here is a map. Go out into the wilderness and go build your house. Like, dude, that's fucking hard. Yeah. By the way, don't get into any conflict and die. Don't get eaten by wild animals, right? Like all this shit. Like, dude, we wake up and we fucking have a supercomputer in our hands within 10 seconds and we can press buttons and, like, breakfast could show up, right? Like, I mean, it's like the most cake life of all time. And so if you think about that, like, the positive view is we live in the most prosperous, safest time in human history. The downside of that is, damn, is it easy to be lazy, right? So easy. And so if we just bring back this idea of, like, if you keep in context what the people before us had to do and you realize how fortunate we are, Like, it is your responsibility to work hard. It is your responsibility to do these things. And if you do that, not only will you be a good kind of, I think, example for the people you work with or people who look up to you, but also you'll pass those traits on to your kids, to your grandkids, etc. And we can kind of keep staying in the right path in life rather than, once you become a nation of complainers get fed. Like, that's the other thing. And if you go back in history and you study it, the kind of early warning sign of socialism is complaining. Because people complain. And then what ends up happening is the people in charge are like, dude, we're tired of hearing these people complain. Just give them shit. Right? And when you give them shit, it turns into socialism. You take away the incentive, you can completely screw up entire economies and nations by doing that. And so it's like, hey, we're at a fork in the road. Stop complaining, start competing, and let's get on with it.